Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFLTV. That smirk every time I say my name. And actually, you can't smirk. We've got this gigsy going on. What is going on here,
I've
Edward?
got a hairy chest. It just needs a little trim up, Colm. I've been grafting my nuts off. I haven't had time to have a little trim up at a gigsy or whatever you call it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, show us that little necklace and where did you get it, Edward?
You weren't here yesterday. You weren't at the press. This is a little gift from AJ. Little platinum diamond number.
Bring it closer to the... Oh.
Little EH on there.
He got you that?
Yeah, got it made for me.
Did he get one for Frank Smith as well, I hope?
Frank Smith did get one. I've just delivered it to him in person because he'd already headed out here. So I thought you'd been binned off or something, to be honest with you.
Man, I felt that way. You know what? I went on a 3-week holiday.
Yeah,
Enjoy myself.
God, I saw it all on Instagram. So cringe. So cringe. It did look unbelievable, though.
Did look good, didn't
It
it?
was like every other day you're in a new city.
Mate, magic. What a life. But let's get to the real stuff. First of all, let's talk about here. We're back in Phoenix. Phoenix has become a bit of a boxing capital because every time you come here, you get a good gate. It's always a good fight. Just talk to me a little bit about how big this is on Saturday
Just
night.
a very knowledgeable city. Every time we come here, we do a good number at the gate. This time we've done our best number by far at the gate. I mean, firstly, because it's a fight of the year contender, and secondly, because you've got Mexico playing football on Sunday. So we've got Bam, who's boxed here before, fought here against Sonny Edwards, and of course now comes back against a Mexican fighter. And you know we know we're going to do a huge crowd. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a really good card as well. And you know sometimes you know when it's a great fight because you announce it and you see the reaction. You look at the likes and the retweets and the impressions and the just the interaction. And everybody's talking about this fight. And how can it not be a fight of the year contender? You know what both guys are going to do. And I think Jesse Rodriguez is super special. He's 24 years of age. Both of these guys, I think, are already in the pound for pound list. Two weight world champions, two unified world champions. I think you can get an amazing fight.
You mentioned that they're 24 years of age. What's your advice to someone like Bam Rodriguez? Do you chase greatness even further and go for a new?
You have to because, well, I mean, Inoue is another conversation. I mean, Bam, when we started with him, was a light flyweight. And he wanted to win a world championship at light flyweight. It's a shame that he never actually got the opportunity to do it. But he jumped to superfly for an opportunity at the world title against Quadras at 1 week's notice. Then he said, look, I want to move back down the weight classes. So he moved back to flyweight, unified at flyweight, and then couldn't make flyweight anymore. So now he's back at super flyweight. And it won't be long till he can't make super flyweight anymore. So I think you're looking at a 3, 4, maybe a 5 division world champion. He's got to get through El Gallo first. But when you start talking about Inoue, obviously you're at such a disadvantage. It's like when they talk about Inoue against Tank, Crawford against Canelo. You're giving up massive advantages to fight those bigger guys. But I do feel like in time, Jesse is going to move to bantam, maybe super bantam. It's just whether, and then Inoue moves to feather, and I don't know. But for me, in answer to your question, my advice is just keep chasing greatness. He's not interested in any random shit fights. Honestly, he said, if you can't get El Gallo, I'll just sit out and wait. I'm not, I don't want so all he wants is big fights. I wouldn't be surprised, someone like Jesse Rodriguez, if he retires at 28, 29. No, because he's going to end up going on a run that is just all mega fights, right? Or all challenges, moving up to bantam, fighting Chocolatito, maybe if Mr. Honda allows it, going up to super bantam, fighting Inoue. I just think that's how he's going to roll. And sometimes you see those guys have a great career, but actually end up achieving it all at 27, 28. And also down in those weight classes, they don't. El Gallo is a bit of an exception in Chocolatito. This is their prime, 26, 27, 28. So, yeah.
Sonny Edwards comes back to the place that he lost for the first time. He comes back on the undercard of the fighter that defeated him. Does that show the mental toughness of Sonny Edwards in one way?
I just think it makes sense. I mean, look, he came here last time. He got booed into the ring. He got cheered out. I tell you something, this is a really tough fight for Sonny Edwards. Really tough fight for a number of reasons. Number one, Curiel is tough. He starts like a train. He doesn't stop throwing punches. I actually think the style will suit Sonny. But again, although Sonny will get a great reception there on Saturday, it's full of Mexican fans as well. This guy's coming off a defeat. He's just headlined in Mexico. He's a star as well. It's a really, really good fight. And, we talked about the potential of Sonny Edwards fighting Galal fight. That's going to be a big, big all-British fight. Could be for a world championship. This is a big fight for Sonny's career on Saturday. I do think he wins the fight, but it ain't going to be easy.
Ramla Ali faced a tough Mexican before and unfortunately got defeated, and she kind of hit back at you when you mentioned that defeat on stage. What did you make of that?
I think it's part of the story. You know, she said, I don't know why people keep talking about that, because it was a massive knockout and it's all part of the incredible story. Like, you should be embracing that. And that was tongue in cheek, but what she's done, if she wins on Saturday against Mercado, especially in here, in this Mexican crowd, to come back from that defeat and then go really into the backyard and win the WBC World Championship, that's an unbelievable turnaround. She can do it. You know, Mercado's a really good boxer. This is her 8th defence. She's a very long reigning world champion. But she's not like the traditional just, boxing brawler from Mexico. She boxes as well. And I actually think Ramla can outbox her on Saturday. It's going to be a tough fight, but I believe she can do it.
I wasn't there, but you were at an unbelievable press conference yesterday. You've had some time to reflect on that flight, I'm sure. But first of all, AJ Dubois, how big is that fight? And do you believe that breaks the records at Wembley, Eddie?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think, His Excellency's talking about getting to 100,000. You'll definitely get there. I mean, we go on sale tomorrow at midday, so fingers at the ready. Look, AJ and Dubois alone sells it out. But when you're talking about Warrington, Kachi, Boatsi against Hutchinson, Shiraz against Denny, Josh Kelly against Liam Smith, I mean, it's a Chamberlain. It's an unbelievable.
It's the best card ever.
Yeah, for sure. Look, Klitschko Joshua was a bigger fight at the time, but the undercard was not in the same breath. I mean, you just don't put that many fights on undercard. You almost don't need to. But obviously, His Excellency wants to make these Riyadh season events just breathtaking, and that's what's happened. So it's just a great fight. I think it's a bad time to fight either guy. If you think about it, Dubois, this is the best Dubois looks in his career so far, isn't it? Great win against Hrgovic, got a little bit more confidence, maybe his courage is blown up a little bit, and AJ's in the form of his life, the mentality of his life, ready to crush people. And this is a dangerous fight. Two big, punching British heavyweights for the World Heavyweight title at the National Stadium. It's massive. And AJ's bang up for it. Bang up for it.
When we seen that face-off yesterday and then what came after it, were you worried when you seen AJ stand up?
Oh, worried? I mean, why was I worried? He weren't going to chin me.
No, but were you worried that maybe it jeopardises the fight, that he does swing for...
I think that AJ only... When someone says the words to AJ, we'll go now, or do you want to go now? That's one of the very few times you see the switch flick with him. I've seen it before. Dominic Brazil, do you remember, years ago? And Otto Warling said to him, "Oh well, I'll fight you now." And he's like, "Don't fucking I don't know." But it was and it was kind of like a throwaway comment from Dubois. It was like, "Well, if you want to swing for me now, we'll go now." And he went, "What?" I went, "Oh no," And he stood up and he wanted to get his hands on it, which is great. It's funny, people sometimes psycho. Whoa, what AJ up to there? Yeah, I'll tell you what AJ was up to there. He wanted to get his hands on him and kill him on the spot because he's a bad motherfucker. And this is what you guys don't understand sometimes. You think that sometimes, and AJ plays the great corporate game. He is a very nice man. He's an unbelievable ambassador. He has time for everyone. He's also a bad motherfucker that will take your head clean off at any moment you want. You know what I'm saying? And he was ready to do that yesterday. And you've got two lumps. You've got Frank holding back Dubois. I'm sort of more back of the room kind of thing, just maybe going, "Hey, come on. And listen, if they go, they go. And you ain't stopping them. But luckily, we save it for September 21st, and you got a great fight.
Just apologies to Aunt Dawn again for the language.
I spoke to Aunt Dawn the other day.
She said it's only in my interviews, though.
Yes, I know. But she said that at least now when I do swear, I apologise. So apologies for the language, especially Aunt Dawn.
We seen AJ and Fury on a call. What did you make of that? And do you believe that we can see that fight possibly next?
Look, I'm not a great manifester, Cole.
Oh, turn him because you...
No, but I'm not. I like to manifest because I am a manifester. No, but this journey has just been unbelievable, and I always believed it would lead to the Undisputed Championship. And I have to be honest, after the Usyk defeat, I knew he'd be back. And I said to him, I actually messaged him this morning, I said, I played a promo of it. It was like the journey since the Usyk fight that DAZN put out. I said, you should be really proud of yourself. And he's like, what? Why? I'm like, mate, what you've done is incredible. You remember, you were there, I'm sure, for the Usyk fight. Like, he was a broken man. His world came crashing down. He didn't lose once. He lost twice to that man. You know, he was crushed by that defeat. And the way that he stayed consistent, I'll tell you something now. The key to success in life, and let's park the success word, but the key to achievement in life is just consistency and hard work. Like, some people will moan they don't get the opportunities, and you've got given, like, not me, but age or whatever. If you consistently work hard and do the right things, something will happen for you. That's proven fact. And what AJ has done, the consistency that he has shown of never giving up, always trying to strive for excellence, always trying to improve, always giving 110% day in, day out. You wouldn't believe, this guy has no days off. He's searching every single day to be a better version of himself. And I think what he's done is unbelievable. And to see him firing like this, you know, I was looking at his fists yesterday and his knuckles, which are about 5 times the size of mine. And I was thinking, you are a fucking monster, you are. And I'll tell you what, I can't wait for you to get in there and smash him to pieces. World champion again, free time. Can I get a free time? You know what I'm saying? And then we go straight up, we fly to Riyadh for December 21st. Usyk Fury, whoever wins, we jump in, we say, Your Excellency, get it on. And he will do it. He will win in September and he will become undisputed. No one's beating AJ right now.
Eddie, he had some comments yesterday about he labelled your friendship with Frank as fake.
Yeah.
What do you make of those comments?
I think that if you didn't know the true relationship, or you didn't see us around each other or working together, I can definitely understand why people would think that. When myself and Frank Warren and George, well, more me and Frank, when we first met, it wasn't fake, but we didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? So you could say it was fake us getting on, because we like. And when we first shook hands, we were basically told by His Excellency, stop messing around. I just want to make great fights. I don't, you know. And it was like, it was one of them. All right, like, let's, you know, down tools, and let's just put it to one side and get on with business. But honestly, as the time has gone and as the relationship has evolved, we do get on, and we enjoy working together. I have a very good relationship with George. We speak every day.
You and George, or you and Frank?
Me and George. No, I don't speak. You know, when we're at the events, I speak to Frank all the time. Socially, we'll go for dinner at the events, but away from the events, I don't really talk to Frank. I talk to George. Really, you know, obviously, you got George, me, and Spencer Brown, and we put this card together. We put all the options together for His Excellency to basically, he's the boss, he's the creative director, to say, I like that one, don't like that one, like that one. So we're all speaking all the time about fights. And, you know, myself and George are looking at business, well, beyond just the business we do around Riyadh season. There's a lot of opportunities in the sport, and particularly on cards and fights and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's nothing fake about the relationship now, but it was a relationship. You know me, I'm a pretty straight shooter. It was a relationship brought together by money and opportunity. Of course it was. What else was it? But it's progressed at a very fast rate because we genuinely get on, and it's good business together.
I've got some more questions for you. Kachi Warrington seemed to be put together virtually last minute.
Yeah.
Was it going to be Kachi Barrett?
So there was a few conversations. Obviously, we had 3 super featherweights. We had Zelfa Barrett, we had Lee Wood, and we had Josh Warrington. I tried to make Lee Wood against Josh Warrington for 4 or 5 months, and it was becoming really, really frustrating. And I did speak to, you know, when obviously George said about Kachi on the card, and him and myself and Spencer, we talked about Zelfa Barrett, we talked about Lee Wood. Obviously Ben Davison's got AJ on the card, so it's a little bit awkward to do that. And Josh Warrington's a massive name. I mean, whatever you think, he's still a huge draw, sells a lot of tickets. So it was like 2 or 3 days before the press conference that really picked up speed, and we only closed it 9, 10 p.m. To be fair, most of the fights on the card were closed the night before the presser. Tyler Denny was another one. I think Liam Smith and Josh Kelly actually finally agreed like the day before the presser. So we're all running around like madmen, getting everything done. And, I think Kachi Warrington is a tremendous style matchup. Kachi was brilliant against Cordina, and he's all action. So is Josh. I mean, it's a brilliant fight. And I think Super Feather will really suit Josh because he's been feather for so long. And, that's a chance for him to become a 3-time 2-division world champion.
What is the relationship with Lee Wood right now? Is he signed to Matchroom? Will he be looking elsewhere? Will you still be looking at options for Lee Wood? Or?
Yeah, I said we'd meet next week. I mean, a fighter has to be comfortable with the deal he's accepting. There's no point me saying he should have taken the deal against Josh Warrington, because if he feels like it wasn't the right deal for him, he shouldn't have. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like he should have. Maybe we do that after. That's, still an option. We actually could have made that fight August 24th, but Lee wasn't ready. So he probably won't be fully ready till September, October anyway. So maybe we make that fight in December. I like Lee. I've paid him an absolute fortune, and good luck to him. He's changed his life with some brilliant performances. If there's opportunities for him away from Matchroom, we know he's only got 1 or 2 fights left. He's already stated that, really. He still wants to do the Notts Forest fight. But yeah, very fond of him. Love to keep working with him. But at that stage in his career, I'm sure he spoke to other people as well. So whatever, the Warrington fight was the one to make. Now, maybe it'll be for the World Championship, but you've also got Nunes, who the winner's got to fight, so we'll see.
What is the situation with the IBF on that?
The winner has to fight Nunes. Nunes, we did a deal with Nunes to step aside. He'll fight on our LA show in September, and he will fight the winner of that fight.
Eddie, I want to ask you a question about Matchroom's policy on fighters who maybe aren't signed with you. Because we see, I'll give you an example, Lewis Crocker isn't necessarily a Matchroom.
Yeah, Crocker has a contract with Matchroom. Yeah, I mean, every contract's different. Crocker has a multi-fight deal with Matchroom, and we did that with Conlon Boxing. Obviously, Paddy Donovan, the same. So, just to sort of give you the education, sometimes you have a fighter that you sign on a 3-year deal, right? And generally that will happen at the earlier stages in their career. I like shorter-term contracts, but contracts that are long enough to give a fighter security. I think that when someone tries to sign you on a 3 or 5 year deal, when you're at the backstage, I think it's a long contract to sign, especially with the way the industry's changing. And also, I don't want necessarily 5 years of obligations if you're not going to perform. And we had that. I've had that with fighters before where you're having to pay them massive money and they're just not performing. So we like to be a little bit fluid as well. You should want the security from a promotional company. And then you have the other thing where a fighter will fight and you'll have options on them, options to exercise. So a good example of that might be Conor Walker, right? Beat Cyrus Patterson. We have an option to extend the deal by 2 or 3 fights after his performance. We absolutely did that. Now, when they lose, sometimes there's a right to terminate that agreement. But, you look at Conor Walker as a great example. I'm actually looking to do a new deal with Conor Walker because I think he's fucking great. And then you've got Lewis Crocker. He had a multi-fight deal as well. Paddy Donovan, we had an option to do the Lewis Crocker fight. So we're working on that together at the moment. So every contract is different. Yeah.
Will Crocker Donovan happen next?
I think it's a brilliant fight. I really do. I think it's the right fight for both. We have to look at the dates. We have to look at the venue. I know that, Paddy would like to do that fight in Limerick. The reality is both guys get paid well for that fight. So you've got to make sure that you bring the gate in. Now, there's no history of big gates in Limerick, right? Would it do well? Maybe. Now, the other one is, do you do it in the middle or do you do it in Dublin? But the problem is, as a promoter, if you can hit a certain number in Belfast, we're not interested in taking the risk that it might do. Now, if Paddy Donovan wants to guarantee the whole gate in Limerick, we'll consider it as an option. But what you can't do in a business is say, well, no one's ever been there before. Will it hit the same gate as Belfast? Probably not. I think that sells out the Odyssey or gets very close with a great card. So we have to look at all options. Brilliant all-Irish fight. Hopefully we get it made.
Devin Haney fallout, what's the situation with him?
No real fallout. He said that, let's say, Matchroom trash or whatever for not bidding. We're not obligated to bid. You've seen all my answers on that. He was on.
Is that a good example of what we just spoke about?
Yeah, because it's all very well being a free agent, but it doesn't give you any security. So I get that, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's not good, really, of being a free agent. And, I want to make particularly maybe Liam Paro against Devin Haney. Me and Devin are going to be working together, and I think really the reality is that Sandor Martin fight kind of came around a bit quick. And I feel like it was a good fight for him, but maybe, as I said, it came around too quick, and I don't think he'll be taking it. And maybe it's better for him just to have a little rest, chill out, look at the situation, and make a decision from there.
Have you spoke to Shakur Stevenson about potentially signing him?
No, I've spoken to his people in the past, and I said, look, when your contract's up, we'll have a chat, and that appears to be next weekend.
Final one from me. Canelo Berlanga. How likely are we to see that next?
I think there's a good chance. He's a mandatory, but Canelo's got a few mandatories. I think for all those kind of interim fights, if you like, away from the Crawfords and the Benavides, I think Berlanga is the most attractive. Mexico against Puerto Rico, Edgar will give it everything. He's a young, fresh puncher. I think it's an exciting fight. So, yeah, we're ready to go for that fight, and we'll see what happens.
Do you believe it's a Matchroom show, or would you be happy enough to let him go over to PBC?
Yeah, don't mind. I mean, Matchroom show, PBC show, Riyadh season show, wherever it is, Edgar's our fighter. He's under contract with us. I want to see him get the opportunity. Canelo's my chum. But it's a great fight.
Eddie O'Hearn, thank you very much, mate.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.